I stand up here a very nervous, worried individual with a lot of anxiety. What happened then at Cayman Park on Saturday with the abandonment of two races within one day is a very sad state of affairs. On Saturday, April 27th, race 1 and race 6 were abandoned by the operational stewards on duty. In race 1, there's a paddock report that states when the jockeys came into the ring, more than half, I think up to 8 jockeys, didn't come into the ring on time for whatever reason. And by no means are we pointing any fingers, but we're just merely trying to state the facts. Also, there were two fractious animals in the ring. I think it could have been number 5 that the trainer I was told, was adjusting some equipment. May have been putting on a nasal strip here and there. And I happen to be a licensed dressage trainer myself. So when you're trying to saddle these animals that are getting ready for competition, sometimes they are somewhat fractious and uncooperative. The number 8 horse in horse racing terms railed up and flipped and had to go through a vet check. We've been warned by the Jamaica Racing Commission of a new 5-minute rule. Personally, I've been in horse racing all my life, and I think it's an ill-advised rule. There's no other jurisdiction that I can find any such rule globally. We were told that the first race, we went over the allowed time, and the Jamaica Racing Commission decided to abandon race 1. We quickly called, we quickly regrouped behind the scenes, and we encourage everyone to, hey, let's tighten up, let's ensure that the rest of the race meet goes on as prepared. We've consulted during last week with said Jamaica racers, with the said racing commission stewards to say, hey, on Sunday, there's been 9 races offered, but in one particular race, there's 19 entrants. In a time of tight economic times, we said, look, if we have this one race with 16 runners, right, we're going to send out 3 horses. And there's only going to be 6 earning opportunities in the particular race. Loading 16 horses is an arduous task, and that alone can take up to 7 or 8 minutes to load a race, especially if there's a fractious animal within. We got calls from the horsemen, please split the race. Mr. Darby, Mr. Smelly, and other leaders within the racing fraternity can tell you that we have called numerous times with communication and saying that, look, we would love to be able to split a race, to run an extra race, but remember, we only have so many hours in a day, and there's betting patterns and there's different factors that contribute to the timing. We consulted with the commission and the stewards, and they said, look, we're going to try and be as flexible with you as possible, because if you run 10 races on Saturday, it adjusts the post and it adjusts the consumer patterns. I think the only consumer, that's the only key stakeholder that is really not even present today, and that was unfortunately not invited, but they will get this information after, is the betting public, of which we take very seriously. We have worked hard under my leadership to ensure that we constantly give better results to our betting public. And I think it is well documented, especially in the first race. There's the biggest event probably in the Caribbean, which is a regular 6, created the Melanesian marriage. So we said, we want to have 10 races. We're going to be allocated crunch for time. We need a little bit of flexibility. Ladies and gentlemen, this rule was implemented on April 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I've heard the general manager of the Racing Commission speaking about somewhat of a leniency within the first month of this implementation of the rule. And within 27 days, man will get slapped with 2 abandonments. This cannot be good for a business and an industry that is operating within very tight economic constraints. So amended Rule 44, we're not even sure why Rule 44 was ever in the initial rule books. But okay, so you amend the rule, 5 minutes. How do you arrive at 5 minutes? We've been told that key stakeholders were consulted prior to the implementation of this rule, and we were never at the table. So it's quite unfortunate that key stakeholders were spoken to, we were in dialogue, but I consider us a key stakeholder, and we weren't at the table. Not to put you on the spot, Mr. Parchment. I think if the jockeys out there say the kind of consultation that I think happened in their instance, they were told that we brought former jockeys of international status, and there's proposed in the States, and this is all that we're going to be implementing at such rate. Mr. Parchment would have been a graduate in what year, sir? 2002. Mr. Parchment would have been a graduate of the Jamaica Racing Commission's Jockey School in 2002. And at that time, if you didn't strike the horse a certain amount of times, it may have been deemed that you weren't riding the said horse on his merit. You then take the same individuals that you have trained, because every jockey, or maybe 99% of the jockeys that came on us back have been trained by the Jamaica Racing Commission. You then don't have a training program to resensitize these jockeys, to reprogram them, to say, hey, we used to tell you that if you don't do this, we're going to call you up. But now we're telling you that if you do this too much, and even before Google was implemented, I've been in the ring hearing jockeys being nervous because not all animals are ridden the same way. Mr. Parchment, they like his bustling style. So a trainer has a certain kind of horse. He says, well, this is a horse that kind of fits Parchment, bustling style, and a stronger jockey. Because he's not considered a lightweight jockey. So sometimes you have to put Mr. Parchment up and you have to go a pound or two over, but you may get a better result. So we've looked on, and we have not looked on in isolation about Rule 44. We have looked on, and we've looked at the regulator in the last 6 years. And I've seen a regulator that has gotten very operational. And ladies and gentlemen, the track was divested for a reason. Before you had CTL, which was one government organization being regulated by JRC, another government organization. I used to sit in that room as a regulator. And at no point in time when I was there from 2016, 2017, or 2018, were any kind of clandestine rules like this ever implemented with a chokehold over the industry. I don't want to go into some of the other details with the other jockeys that have been called up and the different things that have been going on back in and forth with the trainers. But ladies and gentlemen, this press conference is here today because we absolutely take Cayman Park, its economic viability, the contribution it makes to the social and economic impact of our entire society. Cayman Park not only touches the length and breadth of Jamaica, but Cayman Park touches our diaspora. Cayman Park creates a big connection with Jamaicans overseas. We come in for some criticism, yes, in our operations as we evolve, because we've been evolving and trying to come out of a government-run organization to be in a private sector-run organization. And I put a lot of miles on my body, going far and wide, trying to bring international best practice. Ladies and gentlemen, this 5-minute rule is not international best practice. Right? There's other ways that it could have been implemented, but again, we were never ever called to the table to get a chance. We've tried since. We've written an official letter to the Jamaica Racing Commission, and we're awaiting an official response to that letter. It wasn't even written by me. Our legal department sent this letter to the Jamaica Racing Commission. That is how serious we look at this. So the economic viability of Cayman Park is very important. We serve some very important communities within Portmore. We're the biggest employer in Portmore. All of these people in the communities around us, Newland, Gregory Park, Waterford, Passage Fort, depend on Caymanas Park for its economical viability. Many different lives have been changed by Caymanas Park. We talk about Anthony Thomas right now doing well. Here's a young man out of St. Mary, found his aunt in Portmore, did well at Caymanas Park, and is now doing well on the international stage. Why do we want to embarrass Anthony Thomas in the Jockey Room at Gulfstream Park by abandoning 2 races? Under our leadership, we have taken Caymanas Park, we have created the Motorman. This said establishment on the Jamaica Racing Commission and the BGLC, there was a diamond mile created, ran for 5 years. This same leadership at the Jamaica Racing Commission and the BGLC decided to stop that very important race. We cannot turn off people off of Jamaica. There's a different way to go about administration. Had I still been a part of the Jamaica Racing Commission's administration, there's absolutely no way that I would sign up for this. This is wrong. We're in 2024. We have to look to develop this sport that contributes to thousands in Jamaica. I dare say over 100,000 Jamaicans' lives are connected economically by Kingman's Park. So here it is. Something that we have developed here is going to be turned out to be a big treat. But at the same time, we're sending out a message globally that Jamaica is not really open for business for racing. For racing to be economically viable in any racing jurisdiction, there must be international participation. How do we reposition and reallocate when we have a published host time from Thursday and then something happens on Sunday? 16 minutes. So are we to get that tit for tat argument with the steward that says, are you going to be fined? Do we need to cancel you for going over 16 minutes? I could easily argue that that decision should have been made within 5 minutes. But they're going to blame us. They're going to say the camera angles and the different things that allow you to adjudicate. Like the same trainer that was adjusting his equipment. In race 6 in question, I think the Salamans probably admitted that they made a big blunder because all the other horses were at the gate. One horse, threw away the jockey, ended up by the back panel and was being checked by the GRC vet to see whether it was going to be a late down start or not. So the problem is, when you set rules like this, you create an issue with, with somebody with a loaded gun. And when somebody with a loaded gun pulls the trigger, people get hurt. So here it is, 2 races, 20 something participants. Owners that have to spend money to prepare their animals, and I know what it takes to prepare an animal. Regulators are to regulate, not to try and control, not to try and step on their throats. I'm calling on Minister Clark, calling on the Prime Minister. We need to have a proper conversation about race.
Thank you for watching another video produced by the team from quickgallopjaya.com and its YouTube channel, The Quick Galloper. Please stay on the channel for other enlightening videos on those involved in local horse racing. Please like, subscribe, and press the notification bell.